Hey everyone, my name is Sean, and in today's video we're going to be doing a little bit of gameplay in the online ranked mode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Link Evolution, and I am going to be playing some Dragon Link for you. 2 days ago I uploaded a video to the channel where I did an introduction and a guide for beginners who want to get into Dragon Link, and if you don't know how this deck works, I strongly recommend you go and watch that video so you can understand the different mechanics. But now I want to show you some gameplay and how it actually works in a live match. So, my opening hand here wasn't too great. We didn't have any of our really good starters, but I'm going to start off by using the Strudo here, and we've summoned Rocket Tracers to the field, and we use the Strudo's effect to summon it to the field. Now the Strudo can go into so many different monsters. You can go into a level 7 Synchron, but I'm just going to be using it here just to help us get into our Link play and let it climb from there. He's really flexible, and it's a reason why I think this card is absolutely broken in this game. If you want to learn a bit more about the Strudo and how crazy it was, I uploaded a video 3 days ago from this video published date about how broken this card is in Link Evolution, because it's absolutely insane. So we've just summoned out Dragunity Knight Romulus. Dragunity Knight Romulus is a great Link 2 monster for Dragon Link. It is an extender in many different ways, and it allows you to add either Dragon Ravine or Dragunity Divine Lance from our deck to our hand. I already had the Lance, so we're going to go for the Ravine. And now I'm going to use Ravine's effect, which can allow us to send any monster from our hand or any card from our hand to the graveyard, to then send a monster from our deck to the graveyard. And so I sent 1 for 1, and now I'm going to be able to send what I want. There are many good targets you can send to the graveyard for this deck. Supreme King Dragon Darkworm, you can send out the Strudo, but we've already used this effect. So I'm actually going to go and send out Absol Dragon and send him to the graveyard. Absol Dragon, although he doesn't have it in his name, is a rocket support card, and when he is sent to the graveyard, you can add any rocket monster from your deck to your hand. So we've got a little bit of searching out there. That's important because later on, if we want to use Boot Set to launch, we need rockets in our hand. I've now activated Dragunity Divine Lance and equipped it to Romulus, and while this card is equipped to it, it then has the effect to be able to put a Dragunity monster from our deck to the field, and so we've put Dragunity Phalanx. And this is really good because Phalanx is a level 2 tuner dragon based monster, which is going to allow us to go and make our plays further. I just summoned out Crusadia Draco to the bottom right of where Romulus is, and now we are all set up and ready to go into our Guardragon combo. So first we summon out LP, and then in a second we're going to summon out his brother Pisty. Now in order to use your Guardragon monsters, you have to make sure that at least 2 of your Link monsters are pointing to the same main monster zone. Otherwise you cannot activate their effect, which is why we want to use Romulus, because he has these nice 2 arrows that spread them out by 1 square. So Pisty and LP are pointing to each other, so now we can use LP's effect to summon a dragon out for our deck. And we're going to summon out Starly Seyfert. Probably one of the best main deck monsters in our deck, Starly Seyfert, because it does so much. And we're going to use its effect to send itself to the graveyard to add any level 4 dragon monster from our deck. And this is now going to get us to our Chaos Dragons, and we're going to add Black Dragon Collapse Serpent now, so we can use it later on. Before we summon out Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, I'm going to use Pisty's effect to again summon out Seyfert to the field, increasing how many monsters we have on the field, and then we're going to be ready now to build our end game board. One thing I want to mention now at this point is when you're playing in the online ranked version of Legacy of the Duelist, and you're going to use Dragon Link, be very wary of the timer. I strongly recommend that when you start to get about 60 seconds left on the timer, wrap it up. It doesn't matter whether you're going to finish your combo fully, just build whatever board you can and start to pack it up, because there are so many times where in this game I have ran out of time. I'm like, I knew I could win, but I didn't get time to finish my combo, so wah, it is what it is. So I am right now just rushing and trying to finish my combo in any way, shape or form. I absolutely want to get Borrowed Savage Dragon on the field, so I'm going for my rocket play right now. I'm going to use Boot Set to launch to summon out Rocket Tracer from my hand to the field, and then we'll be able to use Rocket Tracer's effect. Now, Rocket Tracer's effect requires that you destroy a card on the field, so we're going to destroy Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, and that will give us a copy of Rocket Recharger to the field. So we have a level 4 tuner and a level 4 monster, and that's going to help us go make our Borrowed Savage Dragon. But also, we are also going to be able to add White Dragon Rival Buster from our deck to our hand, because anytime a Chaos Dragon is sent to the graveyard, you are able to add the other copy from your deck. So now we're going to use our 4 and our 4 to make a level 8 synchro. And here comes Borrowed Savage Dragon, who when summoned to the field, is going to equip himself with a link monster from our graveyard. So you always want to choose whichever link monster that's sitting in your graveyard that has the highest link rating. So we're going to use Romulus, and this will give him 2 borrow counters. For every borrow counter he has on his on the card, he's going to be able to negate any type of effect during either player's turn. So Borrowed Savage Dragon is a really good card to go to before you end your turn. And we're going to have to stop it there. We could have made the combo better, and if you want to see how strong you can make the combo, there's an example in the tutorial video that I showed. But really, this board isn't so bad either, because LP and Pisty, if they manage to survive this turn, will get us even more dragons. So this board isn't that bad, to be fair. So in Kazar's first turn, he activated Raigeki to try and blow up my field. That ain't gonna work because we have Borrowed Savage. And now he uses Cyber Emergency, and this reveals that he is playing Cyber Dragons. Kind of could guess that from his avatar as well, because he has Saiyan Truesdale. But Cyber Dragons are they're not a bad deck whatsoever, but I should be able to beat a Cyber Dragon with this deck here. The one thing you have to watch out though is that they like to do Contact Fusion. Contact Fusion is a form of fusion summoning where if the monsters are on the field, you can just send them to the graveyard to summon out the fusion monster. And when you do Contact Fusion, you can use monsters on both sides of the field. In particular, Cyber Dragons have a monster that can be summoned out directly from the extra deck by using your opponent's monster from the extra monster zone. So that means my Hieratic Seal, the Heavenly Spears, is in a little bit of danger right now because it might be used for Contact Fusion. So I think this is a good time to use this effect to get it off the field, and we're going to tribute it to bounce 1 card off the field. Kazza is going to respond to my activation. He is now going to activate Cyber Load Fusion, and this is going to let him fusion summon 1 monster using the monsters on his field and or his hand as materials. So he's going to go into that play straight away, and I think he's restricted to only attacking with that 1 monster though, and it shuffles him back into his deck as well. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know that about this card. So out comes Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, but unfortunately for Kazar, he activated this card at a bad time in my opinion, because my Hieratic Seal just activated, and Hieratic Seal is so good because it doesn't target what monster is going to return to the field, it just does it on resolution. So I got to choose the monster he just summoned and put it back in his extra deck. Then I just managed to summon out Omni Dragon Brotar from our deck, because Hieratic Seal has a graveyard based effect as well. If it is tributed, you can summon out a monster from your deck. And Omni Dragon Brotar, discarding my White Dragon Wyvern Buster to add Chaos Dragon Legionnaire from our deck to our hand. It's really insane how many different little interactions this deck has, and it surprises me in many ways. Omni Dragon Brotar is such a good little card, and with that and Slightly Safer, we can get into any of our Dragon engines quite easily. Kazar sets 1 card. He normal summon Core to add Cybernetic Overflow, I believe it's called. And yeah, I'm not really too worried about that because we still have Borrowed Savage Dragon on our field, which will be able to negate his effect. Meaning that we only have to worry about the card in his hand. So let's try and make a board and deal with what we have right now. We have LP and Pisty sitting on the board, so I think that's a good place to start. I'm going to start off with LP's effect. And let's see, in this situation, I really have access to all the resources I want to, so it's not really too worrying. He's going to use Overflow's effect and try to blow up my field, but I'm going to negate that with with Borrowed Savage Dragon, so that's going to get negated. And then LP is going to summon out a monster from my deck, and yeah, it really doesn't matter here what we summon out. We can go for Destrudo, but I don't really plan to use it, so I'm just going to go for Slightly Safer and use that effect instead, because he'll be able to get us more cards out of our deck. Slightly Safer hits the field. I don't want it to stay in the main monster zone, so I want to get it out there so I can use Pisty's effect. So we're going to use this effect to get Rocket Tracer from our deck, and that gets added to our hand. We still have Boot set to launch on the field, so we'll be able to summon it out from our hand later on. And now I'm going to use Pisty's effect to bring back Slightly Safer from our banish pile. It's always nice to keep Safer in your graveyard at least, or your field of course, but try to get it out of your recycle it out of your banish pile, because you can use it to bring back Chaos Dragon Legionnaire out of your graveyard to your hand. And then we're going to summon out Sayuja Skull Dread to dig through our deck a little bit more and get some more options. it's crazy what this deck is able to do. I've generated so much advantage compared to my opponent that I really have nothing to fear at this point, because I have so many cards that can just deal with whatever he wants to throw at me. So usually when it is summoned using 4 monsters is the best way to summon it, because it can allow you to draw 4 cards and then shuffle the 3 that you don't want back into your deck, which is really nice for fixing your hand. And so I now have 2 copies of Chaos Dragon Legionnaire that I can use if I want to, and so I'm going to use one now and banish 3 dark monsters from my graveyard and to summon this out to the field. Now Chaos Dragon Legionnaire, when you use its effect, it cannot attack the turn that it uses its effect, which is unfortunate, but we are going to be able to shuffle 1 card from my opponent's hand. So now he has 0 defense whatsoever. He isn't going to be able to stop me. He can't use an Imperial against me if he had that. And right now we're ready to go for game and finish this duel. Sayuji has an effect that can special summon 1 monster from your hand to the field if you use at least 3 monsters, and it's going to increase that monsters by 300 attack. And so now we're going to go for some play here. Now this is a bit overkill, I'm going to be honest with you. I could have just gone for Borrow Sword at this point, but I wanted to kind of show off a little bit about what this deck can do. So I'm going to go for the Union Carrier play here. We use 2 monsters of the same type to go to Union Carrier. Sayuji is going to increase his attack, and then we're going to use Union Carrier's effect to equip 1 monster on our field with a monster from our deck. And so we're going to equip Destruction Buster, I always forget what it says, Dragon Buster Destruction Sword to our Borrowed Savage. And so even if my opponent survives this turn, which he won't, but if he did, he would not be able to access his extra deck as long as that little card is on the field. Now I play Quick Launch to get a Rocket Tracer out of our deck, and then we're going to use Rocket Tracer's effect, I assume. So you're just going to activate, increasing its attack. But I want to win this turn and OTK here, so I want to get more monsters. We're going to pop our Union Carrier, and we're going to summon out Rocket Recharger. We now have 3 monsters on the board, including Borrowed Savage, so 4 monsters. And yep, Sayuji is going to kick in, and it's going to increase the attack. And then at this point, we're going to make Dylan Gearus, get rid of these 2 monsters to summon this out to the field. Really, we're just kind of spot for choice on what we can do here. We can do so much with this deck. Really just kind of just having fun with this at this point. Borrowed Savage increases attack, and yeah, let's just attack for game and swing and goes my opponent. Borrowed Savage has 4,200. Dylan Gearus is going to do 1,900, and then Sayuji is going to end the game. And so hopefully that was a demonstration of Dragon Link and what it's like playing this deck online. It is a very powerful deck. I think this deck is actually tier 0 in my opinion. But as always guys, thank you for tuning in. My next video, I'm going to actually be showing you a better version of my Dragon Link deck. The deck that I really use online. I think it's the tier 0 version of the deck. But that will be coming down in a couple of days later on this week. So thank you guys as always for watching. Please feel free to leave a like if you want to, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff. And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you soon. Take care.